Alright, let's learn some more general things about querying. As you already know, if you enter db.people.find with no arguments, you'll retrieve all the documents from the people collection. At this point, the people collection has just 2 documents, so it's not that interesting for doing queries. Let's construct a collection that has many more documents in it with some more different data for the purpose of doing some queries. Here's a fragment of JavaScript that contains a nested loop. The outer loop iterates for I up from 0, up to but not including 1,000, and the inner loop iterates for j up from 0, up to but not including 3, and each loop iteration for the inner loop inserts a new document with the field student having the value that's I, the field type having the value that's the element of the array names at the current value of j, and the field score that is a round number somewhere between 0 and 100. At this point, I have reason to believe that I have a few thousand documents in the scores collection. Let's query for some of these documents using the find method. As you see, when find is called with no arguments, a whole bunch of documents are spilled to the screen. And you can see there are documents for student 0 with type exam and score 64, another for student 0 with type essay and score 24, another for student 0 with type quiz and score 31, and so on. In the shell, when a query is going to return very many documents, they are retrieved in batches. There's actually 2 layers of batching going on, but you can just think of it as a batch size of approximately 20 by default. In order to page through some of the documents that you get back, you can type it to visit some more documents. Eventually, this iteration will exhaust all of the documents that come back from the query. But there are several thousand documents to go through, and I don't really feel like doing that right now. In fact, for the duration of the time that the shell is holding this query open, there's a cursor on the server that might be open until we exhaust all of the documents that get iterated. In fact, the server will close the cursor after 10 minutes by default, so there shouldn't be too much of a threat of exhausting resources on the server side. In any case, for the most part, iterating through these documents manually is something that's a little tedious to do. One small tip: if you want to execute a query like this, you might want to tack on to the end a method called pretty, which changes the way in which the shell prints out the results of the query. Slightly more readable, I think you'll say. For the most part, however, paging through huge result sets is not something that anybody does.